Hey, I just wanted to offer you another problem that specifically goes over how to the process for completely factoring and solving a polynomial, any polynomial, using synthetic division. So first off, the first step, and note this is number 22 from the homework, and if you notice from 17 on, it says 0 equals rather than f of x equals. Exact same thing that you're doing, doesn't matter. We're trying to find the zeros. So just having set equals 0 is kind of like just a quicker setup than just having it f of x originally. So first off, we're going to do our p over q, and then we'll compare p over q to our graph. So p are the factors of the constant term. The constant term's 4, so the factors of 4 are plus or minus 1, comma, plus or minus 2, comma, plus or minus 4. And then Q is all of the factors of the leading coefficient, which is 2, so plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Note any positive or negative number has positive and negative factors, because a positive times a positive and a negative times a negative is a positive, so negative and positives are factors of positive numbers, and same with negatives, because a negative times a positive gives you a negative. So now we look at all the combinations. 1 over 1, 1 over 2, that would give us plus or minus 1. Oh, whoops, list it like this. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus a half. Then we move on to 2 over 1, 2 over 2. So 2 over 1 is 2, and then 2 over 2 is 1, which we already have 1, so we don't have to list it again. And then next we have 4 over 1 and 4 over 2, which would be plus or minus 4 and plus or minus 2. And note, whenever you divide a positive divided by a negative, that gives you a negative. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So essentially, whenever you divide a plus or minus divided by a plus or minus, you end up getting a plus or minus. So this tells us all of the 8 places that this polynomial could cross the x-axis in terms of rational numbers, not irrational numbers, but rational, so fractions essentially. Non-radicals, for instance, like root 2 would not be included in this. So then I plug this into my Desmos calculator, the function, and I look at the graph, and I have the 3 zeros of negative 1.236 comma 0, that one. I also have 1/2 comma 0, and then lastly I have 3.236 comma 0. So it looks like this is our rational number, even though these are rounded, most likely. Those are probably irrational. We'll see after we factor. But in any case, we want to make sure that this matches up with one of these, which it does, because we have a positive 1/2. So we can go ahead and give this a try now. So we're going to try doing synthetic division with 1/2. So I got 1/2 here, and I have our polynomial, just the coefficients. 2, negative 5, negative 6, 4. Bring down the 2. 2 times negative half would be 1. 1 times, or plus negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 1/2 would be negative 2. Add down, be negative 8. Negative 8 times that would be negative 4. And then add those and we get 0. So it is a factor. Yay! So now we have our polynomial left over here, which is 2x squared minus 4x minus 8 equals 0. And we can divide by 2 there, so that would give us that. And note that is not factorable. Even if we didn't divide by 2, it'd still not be factorable, and we'd have to use quadratic formulas. So let's go ahead and do that. X equals negative b, so the opposite of b. B is negative 2, so the opposite of b is positive 2, plus or minus square root b squared, which would be 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 4, divided by 2a. And now we're going to simplify this as best as possible. We have 2 plus or minus inside the radical, that'd be plus 16. Positive 16 plus 4 would be root 20. Divide by 2. Let's break down that radical. That would root 20 would factor into 4 and 6, and then the root 4 turns into 2, so we have 2 root 5 divided by 2, and then we have a 2 in all those. We can cancel it out. It would give us 1 plus or minus root 5, and I bet you if you plug it in a calculator, it will give you the exact same ratios as, as what we had above in decimal form.